But I'm here as the African lion. I've been asleep in the jungles of the Congo, but now I'm awake, and I'm sitting on African gold, African oil, African diamond.
Niki tuantaiti, Niki taiti, Niki tuantaiti.
Shimolatewa prison in Mombasa. This was Raila Odinga's home in 1982. He had just been arrested over the 1982 attempted coup against the then-President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi's government at the height of the single-party dictatorship. Raila was locked up alongside George Anyona, Martin Chikuku and John Mary Seronei. Another detainee, Koigi Wamwere, had just been transferred from Manyani prison.
I was taken to Shimolatewa. I found a team, people who had gone into detention before me. And Raila was among them. I was happy to meet fellow detainees because I was no longer as lonely as when I was alone.
It is here that Koigi Wamwere, who was arrested in Nakuru, realized the government had swept all its critics into prisons dotted across the country. Back home, Raila's family was in panic. Jaramogi quickly contacted a team of young lawyers that included Kiraitu Murungi to rush to Shimolatewa and see if Raila was alive.
His father, Jaramogi Odinga, approached our law firm and to try and, find out about the welfare of his son and all that. So at the moment we met him at the Shimolatewa, Raila was on hunger strike. I think he had not eaten for a few days. He was a bit emaciated. And he had said, you'd rather die rather than eat the insect-infected food.
With Raila on hunger strike, his health was increasingly deteriorating.
I remember asking him, now, what do you think Moi will think if you die? Are you not giving yourself as a present, and you better alive so that you can continue the struggle. And we had engagement with the officer in charge and other prison people, and they agreed to improve his food.
The 1982 coup took the country by surprise. A visibly shaken Moi addressed the nation.
Nataka niseme kwamba yale yaliyotokea leo asubuhi
The attempted coup turned Moi into a ruthless ruler, adopting harsh measures that included detention without trial. Raila Odinga became a frequent target.
Raila was also subjected sometimes to worse torture than the rest of us. Like when he was kept at the GSU headquarters, and he was thoroughly tortured. And I have heard it said that he was hit. If you looked at Raila, you would see sometimes his eyes would be watering. And I understand that that came from being hit in the face with a chair by one of the people who were perpetrating torture against him.
Raila was a very determined person, and is not a person to give up. Even from detention, you'd have expected somebody to be cowed by those harsh detention conditions. But Raila still came out fighting.
Certainly he was not an armchair politician. He wanted action. I think that was very unique about him.
Under Moi's rule, Raila was detained for more than 8 years, but he remained unbowed.
Raila was a good fighter for survival.
Released in the early 90s, Raila teamed up with the expanding and increasingly resilient pro-reforms bases, pushing Moi to open up the democratic space and cede to demands for multi-party system of government. In December 1991, President Moi caved in to the demands.
No sooner voices came that they wanted government of national unity. Then I asked myself, why did we not remain in one party?
The multi-party elections in 1992 saw Raila Odinga finally breaking into the electoral politics area, turning Nairobi's populous Lang'ata constituency into his political bedrock. Serving as MP uninterrupted for more than 20 years. As MP, Raila used Parliament as a platform to push for reforms.
In Parliament, I think what is unique about Raila was that he was able to continue with his reform credentials, very progressive politics, but at the same time, undertake developmental issues in a very difficult constituency.
In an ironic twist, Odinga dissolved his own party and joined the KANU party in what his insiders termed a change of strategy.
The very foundation of our social fabric upon which we as a nation is woven together was under immense threat of being torn apart. Division, injustice, and despair were the fruits of politics of confrontation, and sadly, the loser was king.
He kicked out J.J. Kamodo, who was the Secretary General of KANU from KANU, and he became the Secretary General of the new KANU. And that's when there was the story of the cock swallowing the tractor. So they destabilized KANU quite a bit. And then you remember 2020, the elections of 2002. He walked out with Akina Saitoti, Karonso, and then joined Kibaki.
Then came the National Rainbow Coalition.
You remember there was an accident. Kibaki had an accident when they were campaigning, I think, on their way from Machakos. And Kibaki was effectively removed from the campaign and even had to be hospitalized in London.
The leadership that we have is a team, and the captain has been injured in the field. He's temporarily indisposed, but the rest of the team shall continue with the play.
You remember Raila saying, even if the captain is injured, the match has to continue. And Raila put in a lot of energies in that campaign, Kinamundi Awori and the others. And I think that was the most peaceful campaign this country has ever seen. We were all united. This Mambo tribalism was not there.
Midway its term, a push to a new constitution further separated Raila Odinga from Mwai Kibaki as they took opposite sides in the referendum.
Now, then the other issue now came up on the issue of now typically revising the whole Katiba now came up. Hence, the clamor for more changes in the in the Constitution. That went on up to now, what happened in 2005.
Raila combined with Kinaruto and the Kano team then, and they waged a very serious campaign against us who are now in the same government, and they defeated us in the referendum of 2005.
Defeated the referendum, a weakened President Mwai Kibaki then dissolved his cabinet.
One afternoon, everybody in ODM who was a member of that government was thrown out, and Kibaki then single-handedly now ruled, notwithstanding he won with the help of ODM.
Kibaki dissolved the cabinet, and that's how Raila Kalonzo left.
In 2007, a concerted campaign to unseat President Mwai Kibaki was mounted by Pentagon that included Raila Odinga as their presidential candidate, William Ruto, now Kenya's 5th president, Musalia Mudavadi, Joe Nyaga, and Najib Balala.
Nyaga alikwepo, Ruto alikwepo, Mudavadi alikwepo.
This election placed Kenya at the brink.
I know that the chairman of the Electoral Commission is under a lot of pressure to do this, but he would do a great justice to this nation by standing firm and for righteousness, and that if need be, resign rather than try to pronounce what is fraudulent for this country. The consequences are too grave to contemplate. So we do not want to plunge this country into chaos.
On reaching Pentagon House came the announcement. How it came out, the winner is Mwai Kibaki. We asked ourselves, how? They went ahead and swore in the man.
Nitatenda kazi zangu za urais.
Raila, I can tell you, sat down for almost 10-12 minutes, just the way I'm like this. The way you can see me, he sat down like this for close to 10 minutes. He never said a word, he never talked to anybody, but he just sat down facing the floor for almost 10, even up to 15 minutes. When it was over, he woke up and went away. By that time, there was wailing and there was anger. William Ruto, Henry Koskei, in fury, walked away. It was anger, it was frustration, it was, why have you done this to this country? Why have you stolen the vote? And we left after a while. When I got to my residence, then came the bad news. The country was up in flames.
This marked Kenya's darkest hour.
Raila Odinga expressed his displeasure. He expressed his disagreement with the result, and he didn't mince word about it. This election was stolen.
I call upon Honorable Emilio Mwai Kibaki to exit from State House tomorrow.
We are inviting the people of Kenya to Uhuru Park tomorrow, Monday, 31st of December, 2007, at 2 p.m. for the presentation to the nation of the people's president-elect, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga.
With the help of the international community, Peace talks were convened in Nairobi with Martha Karua, Sam Ongeri, Mutula Kilonzo and Moses Wetangula selected to represent the Party of National Unity, PNU, while ODM picked Musalia Mudavadi, William Ruto, Sally Kosgei and James Orengo.
If we are going to resolve this issue, time is of the essence. And I want to join my brothers in appealing for calm and an immediate end to the violence.
The most stubborn person, obviously, and this is recorded, was Martha Karua. She was the team leader. And on her side, I think, I don't want to talk about myself, but I think, and the jury is out there, but I think it's on record that President Ruto, at that time, who was part of the team, was quite, also had nut to crack in our team.
Raila Odinga and Mwai Kibaki formed the Grand Coalition government with Odinga as Prime Minister. Subsequent events finally led to the promulgation of the new constitution.
What was the country's mood when eventually the promulgation was taking place at Uhuru Park?
It was a cold morning, and windy, but the energy, the fire, and I really truly believed this was a second republic.
If you ask me today, we probably could not have pulled the constitution off if we were doing that exercise today. Having Raila Odinga and the late President Kibaki as the two people who are running the nation at that time was absolutely critical.
Pundits have awarded Odinga a medal of a peacemaker, always retreating when crisis hits the country. From the 1997 truce with Moi to the 2007 retreat and now the recent handshakes with Uhuru Kenyatta and Dr. William Ruto, Odinga's long struggle for reforms earned him a name across the world, even as he puts forward his case to become African Union Commission chairperson. Stephen Leto, Citizen TV.